Hello and karibu to another episode of Tule and Seki, where everyone is a hidden chef. So at Tule and Seki, I give you the type of recipes you go to restaurants for and wait for hours just to get it delivered, So long as you have the right ingredients, a functioning kitchen, you're good to go. And today, guess what we'll be cooking? Oh, I'm so excited. Chocolate glazed donut. Are you ready to go? Ready when you are. Let's get started. What sort of ingredients do you need for your chocolate glazed donut? I got you covered. So the first thing is 4 cups of very well sieved flour, because you need to incorporate all the air so that it rises very well. And the second thing you need is 125 grams of margarine or butter, can be any of your choice, 2 eggs, yeast, half a tablespoon of yeast. So what did I do to my yeast here? What I did is I mixed my yeast with warm water and sugar to taste if it's authentic. So you mix it, put it in a warm place, and for 5 minutes, if it doesn't form this bubbly thingy on top of it, that means your yeast is not good. So mine has formed that, so we're good to go. All right, and 1 cup of warm milk and a pinch of salt. And don't forget, you have to have lots and lots of sugar, which will be equivalent to the flour you're using. So what do we use to make the chocolate glaze with? We use cocoa powder, we use cold milk, and we use sugar as well. So trust me, when you have all these ingredients, you're good to go with your chocolate glazed donut. So let's get going. So the first thing, you mix your dry ingredients. Let me create space here. We create some ample space for this. So how do we mix this? So we start mixing the dry ingredients first, the sugar and the flour. So ensure that you mix very well the sugar and the flour, the pinch of salt. So let's mix the dry ingredients first. So when you're mixing the dough, you have to be very, very careful that the dry ingredients are very well mixed. Then after the dry ingredients, let's now get to the wet ingredients. We start with the margarine. So we mix it with the margarine. So with this margarine, the method you're using to mix is the rubbing in method. And this method, trust me, you have to use your fingers. So if you don't use your fingers, you won't get what you really want to go for. So we mix the margarine with the flour. So how do you know you've attained the right consistency? Is when your flour looks like breadcrumbs and is very well mixed with the flour. So take your time, don't rush, because the minute you rush, you've messed up your whole pastry. And you don't want to put all these ingredients to rest, do you? Do you now? Okay, so slowly but surely, we're almost there. So don't worry, I'll transfer this flour to the kitchen surface because it's too much for this bowl. So I'll transfer it to the kitchen surface to get the right consistency and the right form. So keep on mixing till you get the breadcrumb-like feeling. For me, I like using my hands when I'm making pastry. I don't know why, because I get to monitor if it's the right consistency, if it's the right texture. But if you want, you can use a mixer. But definitely not a spatula, of course. You use your finger when you're doing the rubbing in because you want to feel and you want to know if the butter is very well spread. So we have the effect that we wanted. So what's the next thing? We mix the wet ingredients now. So make a well in the middle So you make a well in the middle. The first thing is you break your 2 eggs in the middle. Then we add in the warm milk. Ensure that your milk is warm because you want a warm environment for your yeast, remember? But as you can see, our yeast has formed the bubble that I was telling you about, and that's how you know. That's how you know if your yeast is real. That's how you know if your yeast is not going to waste your time. So it depends on the type of consistency you want. So if you want it to be extremely soft and tender, you can add more milk or water, but it has to be warm, remember. It has to be very warm. Remember I told you I prefer using my fingers? Yes, because I get to monitor the type of consistency that I want. So how long do you need this dough for? You need it for 20 to 30 minutes because that is the only way all your ingredients are well incorporated. Usikimbize, usirashira shapo. This is not mandazi milk. This is chocolate glazed donuts. Yeah. So I think from this point we transfer it to the kitchen surface. Well, we can keep kneading it now on the kitchen surface. Agwanda? Yes, so you keep kneading your dough until it has that firm consistency. So you keep kneading it, and you can tell it's already coming together very well. Make sure it's very well mixed. So it gets a point where you decide whether you want to use cooking oil or flour to keep kneading the dough. If you want your flour to be more tender, you use cooking oil. If you want your flour to be more stiff, you use flour. So in my case, I want it a little bit tender, so I will use cooking oil. Makes it even more tender. So, since our dough is ready, as you can see, it's very elastic. Since our dough is ready, we're going to cover it up with a cling film in a bowl and put it in a warm place for a good 30 minutes before we start shaping it. Before we start shaping our donuts, beautiful, beautiful. As you can see, it's beautiful. The right consistency, very well mixed, very well incorporated. So let's set it aside. Let's line our bowl with oil so that it doesn't stick on the edge of the bowl. Yes. So we put our dough inside. A little oil on the top, glaze it, and cover it with cling film. So our next process is to let it cool for 30 minutes while we're making the chocolate glaze. Oh, I think that's very fun. Kids enjoy that a lot. When you're doing it in the house, make sure you involve your kids. When you're making the chocolate glaze, it smells amazing. First of all, it smells amazing. You would love it. So here we are. And that is our dough. So let's put it in a warm place and make sure it doubles in size. Before you do the next step, make sure it doubles in size. So we're good to go. Chocolate glaze. Let me show you how we're doing it. So the first thing you need is, of course, sugar. That is before you turn on your heat. So you mix the sugar and the chocolate. So no heat when you're mixing this. I'll show you when you add the heat, and the heat should be very, very low and very well monitored. And the last thing is the milk. The second last thing, sorry. So you mix the cocoa powder and milk slowly, and make sure you don't form lumps while you're mixing. I mean, this process is very fun when you have kids in the house. Always involve them. Because if your kids find your cooking boring, when you involve them in such things, they'll be like, oh, they'll be more interested. So what sort of consistency do you want for your chocolate glaze? For me, I like mine thick. But if you want yours to be thinner, maybe for a different purpose, maybe for a milkshake or something, then you can make it thinner by adding more milk. So for my case, I like my chocolate glaze thick. So mix it very well. Make sure the ingredients incorporate very well. Pole pole, tusiwe na haraka. So when we're making the chocolate glaze, it's time to mix our ingredients. And of course, if you want it thick, you can make the chocolate glaze very thick, and if you want it thin, you can make it thin. So the same chocolate glaze, you can use it in a milkshake. So if you use it in a milkshake, you can make it very thin, or if you're using it for a chocolate glaze donut, you make it very thick. So I've already done the mixing process. Yep, so it's very well mixed. So let's turn on the heat. So we reduce the heat because we don't want our chocolate glaze to be burnt. And once you reduce the heat, you don't stop mixing. So you just mix your glaze. Because the minute you stop mixing, it sticks on the saucepan. For me, time to time, I like to to add to my chocolate glaze vanilla essence. So just a few drops of vanilla essence. Keep mixing. Ensure that your heat is very low. Oh, I already love the smell. It smells amazing. Remember, don't stop mixing, because the minute you do, it will burn on the saucepan. So mix, keep mixing. So the 30 minutes are over and our dough is well risen. So we place it back on our kitchen counter. So let's dust our kitchen counter to form those donut shapes. So dust your kitchen counter very well to ensure that your dough doesn't stick on the counter. So how thick do you want your donuts to be? It depends. So for me, I don't want it too thick to the extent that I cannot see the hole in the middle. So what I usually do, I usually maintain a certain thickness. So I'll show you how. That is like 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters and you're good to go. So let's maintain that 3 centimeters. We're good to go. So how do we make our donut shape? For me, I just use my glass, carve out the shape, just like that. So after this process, we're still gonna give it time to proof and rise before we deep fry it. So it still requires some patience. So 30 minutes for it to proof. Then the next step, of course, the holes in the middle. So remove it while you place it on your very well dusted. It has to be very well dusted. Your pan has to be very well dusted so that it doesn't stick on it. You're good. So I know you're wondering, what do you do with these tiny mandazis? So what I usually do is I put it aside as well, because I also deep fry that, because kids love that a lot. After you deep fry that, you dip it in chocolate. I'm telling you, your kids will enjoy that. So what do you do with the remainder? Mix. And the same process again. So guys, our dough is doubled in size. Looks perfect. Now it's ready for deep fry. So your heat is supposed to be medium and your dough is supposed to be double the size. So we're good to go. Let's go guys, deep fry. So don't overcrowd your oil, you can just do 4 at a time and you constantly pour it on top of the donuts. So let's go. Remember, your heat is not supposed to be very high. It's supposed to be medium so that it takes the time. The donut gets to cook well in the middle. So you can see it's browning very well. I'm loving the color already. It looks good. Looks yummy. Make sure your heat is not very high so that it cooks in the middle of the donut. So don't overload your oil. And spread the oil on top while you're cooking so that the top part also gets the heat of the oil. So keep spreading it. You see, when you spread it, the donut cooks very well. So flip it, don't give it enough time to burn one side and cook on the other. So we keep spreading the oil. Polepole ndio mwendo, sikuwe na maharaka za mandazi yetu. But we still love them. We still love our mandazi too. But when you're making your donuts at home, make sure they're beautiful and golden glazed. See how beautiful these are? So slowly getting that brown. is almost ready. So the minute you can tell it's it's golden brown and it's ready, just remove it from the oil. So remember the heat is not very low and not very high, it's medium. So it's ready to be removed from the oil. Make sure you sieve out the oil before you put it on your plate. So slowly sieve out the oil. Alright, so the part we've all been waiting for is here. We have our donuts ready, very fluffy, very soft, very golden brown. And also we have our chocolate glaze from the fridge, and it looks amazing. So it's ready to roll. And you remember these little dumplings? You remember them? And they look amazing and they taste amazing as well. So let's glaze our donuts. You ready? And if you have kids, kindly involved in this. They will love this process of just glazing the donuts. Look at that. I mean, very juicy. I like it. So just be patient and slow about it. Don't rush into it. So if you have sprinkles, or if you have any sort of decorations, normally I would use sprinkles or condensed coconut. So you just sprinkle it on top of the chocolates. It will look amazing. Yes, I'm loving this. So usiogope ukiwa na wageni washtue, kuna mambo ya kuchemsha cabbage na ugali ya jana. You have the money and the ingredients and a functioning kitchen. Plus this is very affordable, guys. So do not think this is expensive. It's very, very affordable. Yeah, so ukiziona supermarket, don't be like, hey, this is rocket science. I cannot make this at home. Trust me, it's possible. It's very possible and very presentable to make it at home. Unasavia wageni, unasavia in-laws, mother-in-law. Hiyo siku mother-in-law atanyamaza, ataongea shit. Yes. You see, I mean, come on. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just lovely? Isn't that just amazing? And I'm gonna show you how soft and fluffy it is in the inside. So another trick you can do if you want to present this in front of guests and make it look fancy. So you just place your donut to the center, then take these little dumplings that you made and decorate with that. Just lovely for photos, lovely for the Instagram, you know, for the gram purposes. Nowadays we do anything for the gram, you know, or TikTok. Lovely, amazing and beautiful. And you can serve that for tea or high tea, or even for a snack, or for your kids when they're going to school. And I'm loving it. So tasting time, and I'm gonna taste this little tiny one right here. Let me taste. Unbelievable, absolutely delicious. Let me show you how fluffy it is. Sorry, my hands are a little messy, but it's okay. Let me show you how fluffy it is in the inside. Look at that, guys. So fluffy, so soft. Can't wait to eat this with my ladies. I mean, I had fun making this. Thank you very much for joining me at Tule and Seki. Join me in the next episode. Cheers.